Que pasa, mi amigos? Nima here. Today, I want to talk about a game called Light FairyTale Episode 1. But before we do, I do want to just kind of remind you guys not to hit that like or subscribe button. Don't follow, don't do any of that stuff. Remember, if you hit that button, you could cause World War III, so don't do it, don't touch it, just back away. Anyway, Light FairyTale 1, Episode 1 was a very interesting game. So I usually decide to get like 2 or 3 games I'm going to review. And last week I had 2 that I thought were going to be awesome and they're ready to go. The Serpent Rogue and Westwater. Well, that didn't work out. In fact, you can see how that all worked out in my last video as I showed you just how it didn't work out. And yeah, ultimately nothing I could really salvage. So I ended up just getting this game out of desperation. It looked kind of good and it was like, whatever, I'll just grab it. And what turned out to be ended up being like one of the funnest games I've played in a very long time. This game took me back to like that first experience I had playing Final Fantasy VII back in the day. Now, Light FairyTale Episode 1, and I have to keep saying that, it is a game that definitely does like cherish the 90s JRPG world, and graphically you can definitely see it, but not to mention that the whole story of it sort of follows in the same realm of a lot of those games. So in this game, you play as Haru and your best friend Karuko, and you guys live in like an underground world that you don't even know that the sky exists. That's how far like just they live underground and live under this oppression that they have no idea that there is any other kind of world outside of where they live. Their world is dictated by this evil empire that controls pretty much every aspect of their life and pollutes their environment and harasses and beats the people who live in this world. So most of this game that I've played, and I have beaten the first episode, you have to understand it is, episodic. So I don't have the full story yet. I don't even have the full skills yet. And one thing I will say is you do move pretty slow, like leveling wise. And it is turn-based combat, which I gotta be honest, from what I played, towards the end, it really picks up. But in the beginning to middle, you're just starting to get to know everything. You're starting to learn about the world. So there's not a lot of fights. And it kind of sucks because this game really does shine in that turn-based combat. It's really a lot of fun. But from what I've learned so far, the combat itself, yes, it is turn-based and you do have skills, but most of the skills are more on the physical side, and your magic, quote unquote, is actually done through something called orbs, and then these have different elemental attacks attached to them. And the ones that I've seen, you can buy them and from different shops, but again, I think there's going to be expansion of characters, and I think there's going to be more to that. Just haven't got there yet. Now in total, the game is about 12 hours to 15 hours long. You can make that shorter or longer. It kind of depends how you play the game. I obviously went through and tried to find everything I could, try to break the game, try to talk to every NPC, all of that stuff. But it is pretty much like a think of a old school JRPG with some like simple puzzles that they have in there to, I don't know, just kind of slow down your navigation. And then with like the random battles that'll also kind of add some more meat to the gameplay. But as far as it is right now, this game is really good. I like the story. I love the idea of, the oppressed against the evil empire. I love turn-based combat. The graphics, I think, are amazing. The music is so good. Like, that is part of the component that really takes me back with this game. Just wonderful. I like the fact that this is done by basically one person. They put in a lot of work and a lot of passion. There's so much in the story writing and in the dialogue that really does kind of enthrall you in that world and makes you care about these characters. A lot of games don't do that anymore, and a lot of it can just be filler, but no, this is done really well. I really care about the characters and I really care about the story. The only thing I don't like about it so far is the fact that it's episodic. The fact that, yeah, you pay $8.99 and you do get a good, it's worth it for $8.99, but I think I would rather pay $40 and get the entire game, knowing that episode 2 is supposed to come out in later on in 2022. It kind of tells you that you're not going to have an end to this game until probably the end of 2023, maybe even 2024. And that kind of sucks because I'm a person, instant gratification, right? But regardless, I think this is a good game to get into, and it's a lot of fun. Not to mention when they do drop, they're also on sale, so you can get up to 10 to 15% off, and it's definitely worth your time. I just would say it's one of those games that I think that when episode 2 comes out, you're probably gonna have to replay episode 1 again. Another really cool feature about the game is it does offer you sort of a second playthrough as is you can then play Karoko's tale after you're done with Haru's. And there's times where they split up and she goes one way, he goes another, and you can kind of figure out what was happening with her. The game also has a really cool hint option, so you never really get lost for too long. There's always something to kind of guide you in some way. The other thing that really helps out is that your character has goggles, and you can put them on by hitting the Y button, and when you do, if you hold it, you can see what's interactive and where your exits are in the room. It's a really cool feature that also adds to this game where there's a lot of accessibility. Ultimately though, in conclusion, has great graphics, great music, a really good story, really full deep characters, and a narrative that I just really appreciate. This game is definitely worth the asking price, and I don't know, I'm definitely all in now, and I'm kind of curious, are you guys? What are your thoughts on it? Are you going to pick it up? Are there any games you're looking forward to that you want to talk about? Any of that stuff, I appreciate each and every one of your comments, but like always, I'm wishing you health, wealth, and above all, I hope you're truly happy. Take care, guys. Love you.